Hey everyone, I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on A Medium Monday. We want to welcome everyone who's watching this broadcast on Facebook Live, streaming us on 955theheat.com, or listening to us on 95.5 FM The Heat. Tonight, we'll meet Kristy Russitano from Finding the Next Step Together. It's a group that provides emotional and financial support, helpful information, and community connections for families in need. We're also going to talk to Dave Paul. He's a motorcycle rider who's already gone hundreds and hundreds of miles to raise funds for Finding the Next Step Together and for Stop Soldier Suicide. But first, our friends at Utica Royalties recently held a celebration for the Muslim holiday of Eid. Associate producer Nick Phillips and photojournalist and AI content producer Jim Hale were there, and they have this report.
I'm Nick Phillips here at the Veterans Outreach Center in downtown Utica, where Utica Royalties is hosting a celebration for Eid al-Fitr.
We talked to Tioka Mohammed and Hawa Peters, the organizers of this event, about what Ramadan and the celebration of Eid means to them, along with the importance of this event.
Yes, so this is actually the 4th annual Eid, Community Eid celebration, and this year is so exciting. It's the end of Ramadan. We have fasted a whole month with not eating and drinking. It's not just eating and drinking, it's your body, it's your mind, it's your spirit, everything is fasted. So at the end of that, we celebrate this day.
The festival at the end of Ramadan is celebrating coming through the journey of fasting during the month of Ramadan. The celebration is with friends and family and the community, and it gives us the opportunity to celebrate the end of Ramadan and also to express what we go through as Muslims as we propagate the faith.
Celebration that everybody's welcome to. It's open to everyone. Once they come in, they will get a passport and an itinerary. We're gonna start it with open prayer and then some lessons, a journey of Islam and Islam in the community, Muslims in the community. And then we have the stations where the kids can go and have some fun. We have activity station, we got food. We also got live performance as well.
We talked to a couple of attendees, including Mohammed, Hawa, and one of the volunteers, Gabriel, who were enjoying a bunch of different activities at this event, including making lanterns.
I celebrate Muslims and all this stuff. We pray, we fast, we do everything.
How do you like it so far? You like it? Looks like there's some decent activities here. We got the lantern ones, and there's like a puzzle over there. Is there anything that you're hoping to learn today?
Like how to build stuff and stuff.
We also talked to Abdush Kukamis, the president of this event. He discussed what this event meant to him.
I am president of the board. So we have board, and then we have executive director, and then we have volunteers. So I coordinate all those three branches together: the board, the executive, and the volunteers. We do this every year. This is our 4th year, and we do is an occasion of community gathering, because we just finished the fasting, which is the month called Ramadan. Ramadan is a fasting for a month, and is a Muslim tradition, but it is actually a community event where at the end of the Ramadan month we always celebrate this day, the day of family, day of friends, day of pleasure, day of communities getting together, and that's why we invite our friends, our families to get together, at least to know each other better and to celebrate.
I was born in it, and then at some point, because my mom and my dad were both Muslims, and then at some point I did my own research, I was like, even though I was born in this religion, but I would like to know more. And when I did my research, it was so amazing. It taught me resilience, trust, faith, and get patient. So it's amazing.
As you can see, everybody here is having a great time celebrating Eid and what it means to be Muslim and what Ramadan means to them. It's been a great time here and the community's really gotten into it. I'm Nick Phillips for the Veterans Outreach Center, 95.5 The Heat.
Good job, Nick. Your first story on the show, your first feature story done by yourself. Very well done. We're going to have that story streaming tonight at 9 p.m. You can find it on my YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And the entire episode will be up Wednesday at 9 p.m. at uticaphoenix.net/Medium Monday. Joining me now is Kristy Russitano from Finding the Next Step Together. She's here along with Dave Paul. Kristy is helping families through some of the hardest times they will ever face. Dave uses his motorcycle and his time to raise money and awareness for important causes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Kristy, let's start with you first.
Yes.
What is the hard time that you went through in your family that led to the beginning of this group?
Sure. So I think Finding the Next Step Together, which is the charity that I started, was it's been kind of in the back of my mind to start something to help the local community ever since my family got a notification that my son at age 7 in 2008 had a brain tumor.
Wow, a brain tumor at age 7.
Yes, so I had volunteered with a variety of national organizations since 1998, varying from organizations that dealt with cancer, ALS, autism. And after my son's diagnosis in 2008, I kind of shifted my focus at that point to really work with national organizations that focused on pediatric cancer-related things. So yeah, I had a typical 7-year-old little boy. I'm sure a lot of people listening have those crazy, wild children that love to jump out of trees and play baseball and play hide and go seek at 7 years old. And that's what I had as well. And his teacher actually called us and said, I think he has a visual processing issue. And at that point, I had no idea what that meant. But I said, visual processing, vision, eyes, let's go for an eye exam.
Yeah.
So we went to the eye doctor, and he told us slightly nearsighted in his left eye, nothing to be corrected, but his optic nerves looked large. But he said some people have large optic nerves. He sent us to a retinal specialist. Took tons of pictures. Retinal specialist kind of said the same thing. He said, large optic nerves, some people have them. He goes, we're sitting around a round table, and I said, this is your child, what would you do? He goes, you know what, for the heck of it, why don't we go for an MRI? So we went for an MRI, and the next day, I went and picked up my crazy 7-year-old son, who actually was hiding from me in a tree. He jumped out of the tree, got into my car. We pulled into the Walmart parking lot to actually do some grocery shopping, and his doctor called and said, Mrs. Russitano, this is Dr. Taylor, and I'm sorry, but Vincent's MRI results have come back, and your son has a brain tumor.
Wow.
And you need to be at Upstate University immediately.
Wow. And you're in the parking lot with Walmart.
I'm in the parking lot of Walmart at that point.
In total shock, of course.
She said, if you're unable to take him now, then we need to send an ambulance.
Oh my gosh. It was that urgent?
It was that urgent.
Wow.
So we really thought that we were going to pull into Upstate. It's now called, obviously, Golisano. Golisano wasn't there yet.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to Upstate, and we actually were there for a week and a day before his first surgery. They needed to do more testing.
Did he show symptoms, like, when he was with you?
Looking back now, knowing what some of those symptoms are, we say yes.
Yeah.
So my son was never car sick. We went to Loudon, New Hampshire to go to a NASCAR race, and he got sick in the car, which, you're going through hills and stuff like that, especially in Vermont and New Hampshire. So we didn't think anything of it. Yep. Got sick in the car, we cleaned it up, and on we went. And then he was, wrestling around with his dad one day and got sick.
Oh, yeah.
And again, my kid doesn't really get motion sickness.
Yeah.
One of the other things was he couldn't find things. Like, I tell him to go into his room and go get, the blue crayon off of his desk.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, I can't find it.
Everybody would know. Yeah.
Oh, kids, I can't find it.
That's how boys are.
Right.
That's how guys are too.
I wasn't going to say that, but since you did.
It's true. There could be stuff in the refrigerator. I don't see it.
I don't see it.
No.
So, but one thing they explained to us was, there could be 4 things on a table, and he could legitimately not be able to pick it out.
Wow.
And that's kind of part of it. So there was like little things that now looking back, but it was nothing that really hit us in the face saying, okay, this is probably something
They're
serious.
really scared
exactly.
you and stuff. Right.
So we were there a week and a day after we arrived because they wanted to do more testing. They wanted to do more MRIs. They wanted to make sure that the tumors hadn't spread to down his spine before they went in for surgery. So it had not gone down his spine. It was just centrally located. So we were marked down for a surgery date. I kissed my son.
What a shocking change to your life and to his life too.
It was, I think at age 7, so I did ask a psychologist, we weren't getting the why questions, like why is this happening to me? Why, why am I going through this?
You were getting those questions from him?
We were not.
And what questions did you get?
So honestly, he just wanted to know when he could go home and he wanted to know when he could eat.
So very sensible. Yeah.
Very sensible. So he was put on steroids to actually help with some of the swelling and things like that. So he was constantly hungry. So he just wanted to eat.
Yeah.
But
was he scared?
I don't think he was. He was just, mom and dad say that this is what we have to do. And there's these doctors and doctors are trustworthy and this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
And that's what the
psychologist
explained.
You must have done an excellent job of keeping him emotionally together to have him get through it like that.
I don't know how, but
you probably didn't at the time. You probably felt so emotional yourself. You probably can't even imagine, but I'm sure that you did.
We were there. I was there for 5 weeks straight. I went home one night. His dad had said, "You need to go home," and I said, "I don't. I belong here." He goes, "You need to go home for one night." I went home, cried the whole way home. I actually called my parents, and I actually spent the night at my parents' house because I didn't want to go home alone. And then I drove back, and I said, "That's not happening again." I said, "I'll be here until he gets out."
Why was he there for 5 weeks?
So between the recovery from surgery, and then we had to go through OT and PT.
Oh, okay.
So again, he went in.
How did it affect him, the surgery,
so
and the illness too?
So he went in, again, typical 7-year-old little boy, and he woke up from surgery, and he couldn't walk, he couldn't crawl, he couldn't feed himself.
Oh my gosh!
He had
this active little boy who was climbing trees and going to Walmart.
Crazy. And he had severe double vision. He had to wear an eye patch, and we didn't know if it was ever going to get any better than that.
Yeah.
So we were in the hospital for 5 weeks. We did OT and PT. We left with a walker and a wheelchair for him. And again, didn't know.
Right.
Didn't know if that was how he was going to live the rest of his life, was between a walker and a wheelchair. And I will say, I think one of the things that my son got from me is my stubbornness. And he was stubborn, and he said no. He goes, I'm going to, he goes, I'm going to do all these things. And
good for him.
And we told him, we said, there's nothing you can't do. It may take you a little bit longer than everybody else your age to do, but if there's something you want to do, you're going to do it.
Great attitude.
And, we persevered, and we went home for a couple weeks. He went back in. He had to have another minor surgery. His scar tissue had formed over his natural flow passage of his cranial fluids. So they had to go in and put an internal shunt, which he'll have for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
We went home for a week.
Is that the cerebral spinal fluid?
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So his is right underneath the skin here, and he's got a tube that comes down and it drains back into his belly area.
Yeah. I had some problems with it at one time too.
Okay.
So I know
you
it can really
understand.
screw you up. Yeah. I was actually in bed for 10 years because of it. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, with chronic fatigue, but I went to a study at Georgetown, and they found out I had actually double the pressure that I should have had, and for me, I couldn't get a shunt. But luckily, I did recover. But it was 10 years in bed.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. So you can definitely relate.
So I really love these stories of resilience.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I can relate.
Well, and you have your own, of course, as well that you can share with everybody.
A 7-year-old to have that, spirit.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, he's the true hero. I mean, he set goals for himself, and he wanted to do it. But after the shunt surgery, we went home for a week. And then he went back in the hospital, had a port put in, and he started 14 months of chemotherapy.
Oh my gosh.
So he did IV chemotherapy for 14 months.
Wow, so much to go through. We're going to talk more when we come back from break. We're going to bring you into the conversation when we come back from break.
Yeah.
We're talking tonight with Kristy Russitano from Finding the Next Step Together and Dave Paul. Finding the Next Step Together will have a CNY Writers for Kids fundraiser on Sunday, June 26th. It's a ride from Utica to Old Forge. You can find out more information on their website at findingthenextsteptogether.org. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Kristy and Dave. And next week, don't miss a special edition of Hot Seat Medium One Day with 95.5 FM The Heat, own civil rights icon, station owner, and founder Cassandra Harris Lockwood, who has just won a Lifetime Achievement Award. You're listening to 95.5 FM The Heat. I'm Ron Klopfanstein, and you're in the hot seat on a Medium One Day. I'll have more after the break. Hey everyone, welcome back to the hot seat on this Medium Monday. I'm Ron Klopfanstein. We're back with Kristy Russitano from Finding the Next Step Together and Dave Paul. He's a motorcycle rider who's been turning miles into meaning by raising money for causes, including Finding the Next Step Together and Stop Soldier Suicide. Dave, I want to start with you now. So, what drew you to these causes and to using your motorcycle to like raise awareness and money too?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess it's a way to take a passion I had and give back. I'm a former EMT that got to be a lot through COVID, through the new hospital, kind of bottles you up mentally.
Yeah.
But the state of mind that I'm in being on a bike is like I'm leaving the world behind when I get on a bike.
What's the difference between like driving a car and riding a bike?
Yes.
A motorcycle. Do you call it a bike or motorcycle?
Motorcycle, bike.
ChatGPT wasn't exactly sure if I should refer to you as a biker or a motorcycle rider. I was thinking biker, but it wasn't sure. So
yeah,
I have some help with my scripts here with ChatGPT.
It's a very loose set of terms.
Yeah.
Biker.
I think biker sounds cool. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what is about the bike that drives you? Like, why do you do that?
Honestly, I mean, for me, it's a challenge personally.
How?
Anyone, the way I see it, it's so easy to get in a car and just turn a car on and go.
Yep.
With a bike, you have your body weight that factors in, the wind, you have two wheels keeping you upright, you have inertia, all these sciences.
Do you have to balance? Like on a regular bike? I mean, you know.
Yes and no. When you're up to speed, the bike kind of balances itself.
True, yeah.
But you can kind of push that science a little bit. Which is where you see riders start to hang off the side of like a sport bike. You see that pretty commonly.
Oh, yeah.
Realistically, being on a bike falls within an envelope, and to most they're cruising within that envelope, they're comfortable, but to me, it gives me that challenge to see how far I can push that envelope, how much better I can be.
Yeah.
And it's a thrill, a challenge, and it's achievement for me, being able to turn a machine into a companion.
It must be. So but what is it that like drew you to like using your bike for causes, and you raise awareness, you stop suicide and soldier suicide?
Honestly, I just like helping people. I like there's not a lot of good in this world left over, and I want to be what light I can be.
Good for you.
The world feels really small with the people I know, the people I don't know, but the few people that I do know that I can help is way more meaning than the thousands around us.
It must feel good to make a difference too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How old were you when you first started to ride?
It was probably 19 or 20 when I first threw a leg over a bike.
What gave you the motivation to like try to do that?
I think because that was right about when I was in the midst of my career in EMS. I needed something to kind of put my time to where I wasn't going to work, going home, going to work, going home. So I'm like, I take the car out, I drive that a lot. It'd probably be a lot more fun on a bike, and it's a new thing to learn, so let's do it, let's try it.
So it kind of like gave you a way to like blow off steam, like to de-stress.
Yeah, to kind of get myself into a new world.
Yeah, of a pressure situation.
Yeah.
Now, Kristy, you were telling me you're just starting to ride a motorcycle.
I am. So I had gotten my permit a couple
you're not in
years
your
ago.
20s,
I
you're
am
40s,
not
so
in
you
my
give it a
20s.
try.
Thanks for telling everybody.
Well, I mean, older than you. So what gave you the motivation to like give that a try?
I have been a around motorcycles for, it seems like forever.
They are cool.
And I just haven't done it. I did get my permit a couple years ago, and I didn't finish getting my license. So I promised myself that it's going to be, that's one of my goals for this year, is that I'm just going to go and do it.
Ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'll ride with you.
Good
All
for
right.
you.
Yes, you will.
Whenever you want,
Yes,
you
you
got my
will.
number.
So how did you start with finding the next step together?
Yeah, so obviously, we talked about my son's experience and kind of what we went through, and I had worked for National. Well, National was sending me up to the hospital to meet with newly diagnosed families.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit, so that they could talk to somebody mom to mom,
Yeah,
one-on-one,
right.
somebody that's walked in their
That
shoes.
kind of peer thing is so valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I had left one of those meetings in just absolute tears, and I called my sister, and I said, I think I need to make a change. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I just left the hospital. And she goes, okay, what do we need to do? And I said, I think I need to step away from National. I said, and we really need to focus on families that are here in the area. She goes, okay, what does it mean? I said, I think we need to start our own foundation.
Yeah.
She goes, okay, tell me what I got to do. So 2 weeks later, I contacted a lawyer, and we started finding the next step together.
Yeah.
I contacted the national organization that I was volunteering with, let them know what I was doing, and they wished me all the best, and they loved that I was doing it. They knew where my passion was.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. And you're helping people. That's
absolutely,
what
and
it's
I'm still
all about,
actually in contact with them too, because some
What
of
is
the
National? A National Finding the Next Step Together, or National
so
Cancer
the national
Pediatric?
organizations that I was working with, and I'm still in contact with them because some of our families that we're currently helping through Finding the Next Step Together can benefit from some of the things that they offer as well.
Yeah.
But I said, I really want to start helping local families, and it's not all about financial. And I like to make sure that
All the
people are aware of that.
emotional, too, I'm sure,
being able to talk to a parent that's been through it one-on-one, ask
Who
those
gets it.
questions. I am so thankful that I had such a large family and friends support network.
Yeah.
But it was different talking to another mom. My family and friends hugged me and told me everything was going to be okay, and they were there for me. But I really wanted to ask, but what happens if it's not?
Right.
What is that next step? How do I have that conversation with my child?
Right.
And they couldn't answer that because they hadn't been through it.
Right.
So talking to another mom was just very critical for me.
What did you learn from this whole experience, and what are you learning still by doing this kind of work?
I learned that people want to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And that's so important to me, to let families know that they are not alone, that there is a huge community behind them to support them. And that's one of the reasons that this ride is so important as well. So this ride has actually been occurring for almost 30 years in Central New York.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did it with one of the national foundations. When I left, I said, if you have somebody else to take it over for you, I won't step on toes. In fact, I'll help. And they called me and said, Kristy, please take it over for your foundation.
Wow.
So I did, and
that's like a real show of support too.
It's amazing.
Validation.
It's our largest fundraiser of the year, and it helps us to help all of the families that are in such need of support.
Right.
Last year it was our first full year in operation, and we were able to assist 16 different families. This year we already have 5 families that we're helping. And again, it is, I know I've spoken about my son's cancer treatment, but it's not just cancer. It's a child with any life-changing diagnosis.
And it does change your life.
It could be anything. We helped a family last year with a child that had an amputation. We have helped people with nerve disorders. So we help them financially, we help build a support network for them, and then we also help them navigate all of the information that's thrown at them.
Right, like information and referral kind of stuff.
Exactly, because of my contacts at different hospitals, I have some
You
contacts,
must have such a great
and I
network
email them, and I'm like,
yourself,
okay, this family needs this, and they just email me the information.
Right. Dave, you've worked with so many people as an EMT, and also like kind of doing this kind of work. People kind of going through such difficult stuff. Sometimes people at their worst moment in their life. What have you learned about human nature or humanity or mortality through your life experiences?
I think, honestly, you don't really know a person until you see them at their lowest. And I know that sounds generic, but when you're holding someone's child at 2 a.m. or you're studying someone's face when they just found out that their life isn't going to be the same, they let down barriers that they didn't know they had.
Right.
I think, honestly, that was the worst part of the emotional bluntness that you get out of contributing towards like working as a medic or contributing to fundraisers is talking to the people that don't realize that they're going to be the ones selected to go through things that no one should have to go through.
Right, right.
It honestly hurts me as much as I can imagine it would hurt them, and
I was going to
that's
ask,
what
so,
brings everyone closest together, I think, honestly.
I would 100%
so there's
agree.
a good, but how has this changed you? Your experiences? I mean, I'm sure it makes you stronger, but it also gives you like more, I'm sure, insight into
I'm
life,
definitely a lot more open. I definitely feel like I grew up a lot luckier than a lot of the people around me,
Yeah.
both in terms of health, in terms of life security and everything. In a way, I kind of wished I didn't, because I don't get to relate to everyone the way I feel like I should, but I
Well,
can
I
also
think
give my own insight towards everyone
true.
else, to be that little bit of light to kind of show them there is better in the world and there are people to help.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I think your experiences have given you a great deal of wisdom and perspective. I don't think you need to have bad things happen to you.
To be able to bring other people up, right?
Yeah. Kristy, how is this experience still changing you? Because you were telling me during the break that your son has to go to be checked out like every certain
year,
number of
yes.
years and stuff. So you're kind of living. We're all living with our own mortality and the mortality of the ones that we love. But for you, it's very immediate. How does it make you different, do you think, than other moms, other people?
So my son and I are definitely very, very connected, going through all of this. And, we have a saying that, life is made up of 2 dates and a dash. Live your dash.
I
So
like
live
that.
your
I like
life.
that.
My son and I actually just got our very first tattoos this year together.
I love that.
And that is my tattoo, actually.
That's so
My
cool.
tattoo is live your dash. It's
Yeah.
just a constant
Right,
reminder
right.
to live life and
Yeah.
don't focus on all of the negative things.
Being sick will give you that perspective.
Yeah,
I
focus
can
on the
attest to
positives.
that.
Yeah. I always tell people we don't know why my son had to go through this.
Yeah.
I won't know while I'm here on this earth why that happened.
Right.
But me, I guess I think about it and I said, you know what? I think maybe this is what I was meant to do, was to help other people. And I'm able to talk to moms and dads one-on-one. And I think maybe that's the reason. I don't know.
There's nothing like staring. What is it? What is live your dash? What's between the two dashes?
So,
What did you say?
so your life is made up of 2 dates and a dash.
2 dates and dash. I was going to say, there's nothing like seeing that date come up or going through an experience like I did, where like you feel like you're already at that date, to make you really appreciate the dash.
Yeah.
And the opportunities of the dash.
Love it.
Anything you want with your life. Dave, what are you doing? Like, what do you do to like make sure that you don't get too weighed down by this, especially when you're an EMT and dealing with like trauma all the time?
That's kind of a loaded question.
How do you experience your dash?
I am a very high functioning person, so I'm constantly thinking ahead, constantly thinking forward. I think the only time I'm truly at peace is when I'm with family or loved ones, or when I'm on the bike.
On the bike.
Other than that, there's constantly noise running through my head, so I'm like, what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do a week from now?
Yeah.
There's this concept, though, that I apply both in the world and on the bike that a lot of paramedics use. I mean, military personnel, special operations, everybody in a high-stress environment, the 3-foot world concept. So you focus on the first immediate 3 feet in front of you, take charge of that space, control that space. Once you're safe and comfortable controlling that 3 feet ahead of you, move forward another 3 feet. So now you're thinking ahead 6 foot.
Yeah.
What can you do to prepare for that?
Like
And you're just ever expanding that.
Yeah, which is kind of the mission of the name of your group there.
Yeah.
What do you say to someone who calls you up and tells you, my son or my daughter was just diagnosed with some life-altering diagnosis? What do you say?
It varies person to person.
Of course.
It really does vary person to person, because sometimes you take that call and you really need to be able to read the person very quickly. Maybe they need you not to say anything. Maybe they called because they need to tell you about their experience.
Right.
Maybe they called you because honestly they need somebody to cry with.
Yeah.
Maybe they called because you're like, you know what? You live 10 minutes away from me. Are you home right now? Can I come over and sit with you for a little bit?
Yeah.
They need that. So it's really about reading the person
Yeah.
And letting them know that they can reach out to you anytime. If anyone takes one of my business cards or any of my flyers, it's my cell phone number that's on there. Every person out there, you know, that we're helping, they have my personal cell phone number. And, you know, I have gotten calls at 10, 11 o'clock at night from people that just need
Desperate,
somebody
I'm sure, at
there
times.
for a moment.
Right,
Because maybe
right.
it's after they put their child to sleep and they can't get
They had
emotional
to
while their
maybe
child's
be-
awake
Oh, yeah,
because they don't
right.
want their child to see that.
Right.
But now they're able to let everything sink in.
Dave,
That's okay, they can
how
call
do
me.
you keep your emotions in when you're EMTing, when you're dealing with some really traumatic thing?
Honestly,
I mean, to the extent that you have to. Like, you know, you want to be somewhat
Yeah.
emotional because they're people and they want you to, like, I'm sure that in the trauma, they want
Yeah.
the person caring for them to have some emotion, but you also got to hold it together.
Yeah, naturally, I kind of bottled it up more so maybe than I should have, but that was my, like, response was to take care of the other person first, focus on the mission first, get that done.
Yeah.
Once you step away is when you kind of let yourself break down, let yourself think everything over.
Right.
You prepare yourself thousands of hours over for that 5 minutes of chaos, and then there's that 1,000 hours of reflection after, and in that 5 minutes of chaos, you have to be at your best. There's no other
Yeah.
option.
In that 1,000 hours after, it must be hard to deal
Yeah.
with. So that must
Yeah.
be where the bike comes in.
That
handy,
is
1,000
that
hours after.
was a turning point in my life. I think getting me into riding, and then me with the interest of that, taking it a step further, getting into the racing aspect, the science aspect, and even the fundraising aspect. Because if I just threw my leg over a bike and just left it at that, I don't think I would have ever seen all the opportunities that were out in front of me to help and relate with other people the way I do
Yeah.
today.
Good for you, Dave. You know, I'm lucky to work with someone like you. Really good. Kristy, before you go, tell us one more time, how do you find your group online?
Yeah.
What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so you can find us online at findingthenextsteptogether.org, or you can go to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
The Facebook page is definitely always updated. It has all of our events as well.
That's really
but
the best place to get
It really is.
information. As a journalist, too, to book my show, you know,
Exactly.
it's like to find out.
Yep.
That's how we
cover for
communicate.
stories. Exactly. you
So
know.
our big event again is going to be July 26th.
July, not June.
July
It is
26th,
Christmas
yeah.
in July, so
Christmas in
easy
July,
to remember
yeah.
that. So Christmas in July, July 26th, we're going to meet at Don's Ford on Horatio Street in Utica. Registration starts at 8 a.m., but you can go online and register early. We actually have discounted registration right now
cool.
as well, and it's tiered too. We know a lot of these bikers go to a lot of different events, like Dave kind of commented on. You know, he does a lot of
Bikers are
fundraising.
very charitable, you know.
Biker-
They have a reputation.
I was
as
just gonna
rough
say
guys,
that.
but they do a lot.
You see
know?
these bikers in big leather vests,
They
and
do
some of them
so
with big
much.
beards, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know that I want to meet them in a
They're
dark
always
alley.
raising money for cancer. And
They
stuff,
are
you know?
always
Yeah.
doing rides.
I will say, out of the whole community, I think minus the 10% of
Well, there's always
like
that
kids
10%,
that just
yeah.
throw
Yeah.
a leg over and go speed or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably a good 90% of the community as a whole are probably some of the happiest, like nicest
seen
people
that, yeah.
110%.
you'll ever talk to, I
110%.
think.
Charitable and
Yeah.
stuff.
And they are constant, like almost every weekend they have another ride to go to, which means
Yeah.
they're donating again for every
Donating
single
again,
ride.
right.
You know, and they don't just donate the registration fee. They go and they buy
Their time.
raffle tickets, and
Yeah.
they buy, you know, a T-shirt. They buy other things while they're there,
Yeah.
and then all the time they have invested in it. I just went to a biker meet and greet for one of the Legions this past weekend.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they are constantly giving
That's
back.
why I think it's a biker gang on the show. You know, I guess some of those guys, but they do so much.
They
and
do
it's really
so
great,
many
you know?
things for so many great
So
organizations.
that's findingthenextsteptogether.org, right?
It is.
We're talking to Kristy Russitano from Finding the Next Step Together and Dave Paul. When we come back, I'll take you to No King's Day 3 in the Mohawk Valley. And next week, be sure to join in for that special edition of Hot Seat Media Monday with Cassandra Harris Lockwood, Lifetime Achievement Award winner right here at the station. I'm Ron Klopfanstein. You're in the Hot Seat on a Media Monday. I'll have more after the break. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. On the next Hot Seat Media Monday, we'll have a special episode featuring civil rights icon and our station owner, Cassandra Harris Lockwood. She's just won a Lifetime Achievement Award. We're going to celebrate that next Monday, right here on 95.5 FM, The Heat. No King's Day 3 brought large crowds out across the Mohawk Valley. Organizers and protesters say that more than 200 people turned out in Herkimer, more than 700 people in Rome, and more than 1,000 in Utica. Photojournalist and AI content producer Jim Hale and I were there, and we have this report. I'm Ron Klopfanstein at Fort St. in Rome, where over 700 people have gathered for the third No King's Day protest. I'm with Susan and Dawn. You're the media people for today's event. So what's happening here today?
Well, we're having our third No Kings rally. This time there's going to be 3 in our region. This is the first one, and as we wind down, they'll wind up in Utica, and as Utica winds down, they'll wind up in Herkimer. So we've got the whole day filled. We're excited for all the people that turned out here on a cold day, and we're looking forward to everybody's success. There's going to be, I think, the number is up to 3,200 events around the country
3,200
today.
events, yeah.
And there's more worldwide. So
yeah.
we've got, it's growing. It's growing. Every event is growing.
Every event gets bigger. And despite the cold, too. Do you think that the cold is keeping people away, or?
I don't know. I mean, we've done the weekly rallies, and we've been out in minus 15 degree weather,
right.
And I think people are so committed.
Right. What does that tell you about the commitment that people are still out here in the freezing cold? It is a very cold day here. I'm freezing, but there's a huge crowd, and I've been here on Saturdays when it was even worse, and there's people here too.
Well, you know what? All I think about is those people in Minnesota who were out there when their neighbors were getting scooped up out of their homes, and their children were sitting in prison somewhere. They didn't know where they were, and they defended their community in 20 below zero, hour after hour, day after day. This is the least we can do.
Whenever I'm out here covering a story when it's cold out, or when I'm out here at the protest, especially the Saturday ones that's really, really cold, I always think about when I was a kid. We used to have, it was like in 1976 with the bicentennial, it was a big year,
It was. Right.
So we used to have these cups, and we would have ice cream in these cups, and they had pictures on them of Valley Forge, and the men in Valley Forge who fought marched through the snow with sometimes bare feet, sometimes with rags on their feet.
Right.
And they did that all to have no king. So it sort of gives me the motivation the strength to be out here no matter how cold it is, to think the sacrifice that they made.
And you think about what the Boston Tea Party was all about.
Absolutely.
Right. No taxation without representation. And honestly, that's what's going on now with the tariffs, with the way he's spending money on a war, when he's taking health care away from people that need it, when people can't afford food for their family, and we're spending $1 billion or $2 billion a day on a war that nobody asked for.
It has no end plan or any strategy. It's just ridiculous.
I'm with Christine, and Christine, you have a very bold sign. It says "Horrid Massacre, Stop Ice." No, what is it? Stop ice now. Yes. So, what does your sign mean?
Unfortunately,
what was wrong in 1770 that's wrong now?
What was wrong in 1770 was the Boston Massacre, when troops were called out by the then government in charge in retaliation for citizens standing up for their rights. And unfortunately, we're living in a time where it's happening again. We've had troops on our streets. I made this sign right after Renee Good's death, and that's not been the last death of an American citizen. Again, standing up for their rights and the rights of other human beings. Carrying it today as well because we're violating the lives of people overseas. If a school is destroyed or neighborhoods are destroyed, it's just as wrong.
Do you protest much?
I've never protested ever in my whole life.
So is this your first time?
Yes.
How does it feel to be at your first protest with a sign that you made? You also have a sticker on your hat that says you're one of the 75 million Americans against Donald Trump. How does it feel? Does it feel empowering to be out here?
Yes, it does. It feels like a way you can express how you're feeling inside, but with a group of people. You know you're not alone. You know that you're not crazy for being against all these crazy things that he's done, and it's been great.
It's not okay to have armed, masked men show up in communities and pull people off the street, out of their homes, out of their jobs. I mean, undocumented immigrants contribute.
Right.
And they're
our
humans.
society. And yes, and not to even mention the fact that these are human beings who are being treated so atrociously.
And
It's
some
just
of
not
them are documented. They're being treated atrociously,
Absolutely,
just racially
absolutely.
profiled, and yeah.
And, you know, I think it's people are saying, you know, we have the power. We're not going to take this lying down.
So what's the vibe here today?
It's good. It's got a lot of energy.
Music and some great signs. and
Yeah, new signs, a lot
some
of
creative
new signs.
signs. I'm going to talk to some of the signs,
for
you know?
sure. Yeah, I'm very happy with everybody's attitude. Yep, no complaints.
And as your button says, democracy is not a spectator
It is
sport.
not.
No.
Especially now.
Yep.
You know, and this is morality bounded together by people, like-minded people who are using these protests to express our rage and in a non-violent, peaceful manner.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
I'm so tired of people saying to me that, Trump is not a king, not yet. But his actions are
because
moving.
of us.
Yeah.
Right.
His actions are moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And as we celebrate our 250-year anniversary of No Kings, we hope the movement gets stronger to send a message.
Could you put into words why some people do think of Trump as a king, and why people are saying, what is he doing that is like king-like that?
Well, he's making decisions unilaterally without the checks and balances in our government. You know, Congress ignores Congress. You know, just it kind of thinks if it should happen, if he thinks it should happen, and that's not how our country works.
I believe he thinks the government and this country is his now. He's treating it like his own. Demolishing a whole wing of the White House is a perfect example of how he's acting as if he owns it. He's the Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, changing it to the Trump Kennedy Center, and that's the way he feels. His name should be on everything.
And you know what, Ron? People are getting exhausted. Every day you get up and you listen to the news and there's some other man-created crisis.
Right.
Yesterday, you know, the treaty room, the historic treaty room in the White House is going to be converted to a bedroom.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, the White House is the people's house.
Right.
Period.
Right.
It seems like he's undermined and destroyed so many of our basic fundamental institutions of our country. Here, you know, July 4th will be 250 years.
I know.
Will there be anything left by July 4th?
Oh, that's what I'm afraid of.
Even the White House he's tearing down.
He is. Even the White House.
If we the people have our say, there'll be a lot left, because this is just a blip on the radar screen. We're going to keep going forward and keep moving.
I like that. Thanks.
Thank you.
The people I spoke with today say this is a historic moment, one that demands patriotism, determination, and the courage to speak out. At Fort St. Oaks in Rome, I'm Ron Klopfanstein for 95.5 FM, The Heat. I'm Ron Klopfanstein in downtown Utica, where despite the really cold temperatures, the snow, and the biting wind, hundreds of people have gathered for the No Kings 3 protest. I'm with Enosha, Shauna, and Aaron. And Enosha, I love your sign here.
Thank
So
you.
you made this yourself, I imagine?
Yes, no, actually it was made already. I resonated with this sign the most, so I picked it.
It's very creative. It has like different kinds of elements to it. What is the overall message, and why is it your message?
We have a president who's a pedophile, and that's the message. We have corrupt people in office, and it's our job as people to get these corrupt individuals out of office.
For those who say we don't have a king and there's no need for this, what would you say to them? Because I see this on Facebook a lot.
But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the message is no to fascist dictators and authoritarians. And, you know, no to the systems that uphold those.
In what way would you put into words that Trump is acting like a king?
I'll let you take that.
Oh, well, so as like to follow up what she was saying, like saying, like, oh, we don't technically live under officially a dictatorship or monarchy, but the thing is, it's like, oh, yes, oh, okay.
I'll take that.
and putting on my political science hat here too, when you study different communities, there's democratic backsliding. When you look at violating people's civil rights, you're not following the Constitution here. You're literally bypassing all those procedures here. It comes down to the people. It comes down to really letting them know, like, hey, this is what we value as a democracy here, and we need to have that inclusion, that equity here, and know that we all deserve to participate here.
I'm here because we did this once already. You know, the revolution 250 years ago, get rid of the king, and then about 50, 60 years ago, when we were protesting for civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, black liberation. This is a repeat that shouldn't have to be repeated.
It shouldn't have to be repeated, but it seems to have to be repeated. They're coming after all those rights.
And more indigenous rights too. Yeah.
How does it make you feel as someone who was a protester in the '60s and early '70s? You were someone who fought for all of these rights.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And now you see him taking away them one by one by one. What are you going to do? What are we going to do about this?
Well, I'm here. I think all across the country, it's been pretty evident every election, that the midterm election. Hey, here we go. Let's get together, drummers. Hold up. Yeah, good. We got to stay together. That it's evident that they've lost every election since then, and the only way that they'll be able to win, in the midterms, is to rig it.
I don't believe what's happening to women now is right. It's not fair.
Right.
We're human and we're citizens, and we're being knocked out of our citizenship, basically, especially with the SAVE Act.
Yeah. What will the SAVE Act do to women?
Well, it's going to make women harder to register because they're going to ask for types of ID that somebody may not have. So an older woman, and I'm going to...
Who's married.
Who's married,
if you're older, take on your husband's name.
Take on your husband's name, and let's say you don't have your marriage certificate anymore.
Right. And who does,
people lose things.
Right. Who has a birth certificate laying around?
That can help, that can come into play. With regular people, a lot of states do use Real ID, and they'll accept that. But there's only 5 states that will do that. And the rest, they're going to want a passport or a passport card. That's $100 right there. Who's going to afford that?
So if a woman who's been married, especially like in, say, a red state, tries to go and vote for this next election, these midterm elections, they may not be able to if they've taken their husband's name.
That's right.
Unless they have a passport.
That's right.
I'm with Zach, and Zach, you have quite an unusual staff here, I guess you would call it. What is this thing?
It's an ancient Celtic carnix. It was used by the Celts to basically disorient the enemy. And now here we are 900 years later, repurposed for I would say
repurposed for what? It's like what is this about, and what are we here for?
So, I feel coming together. We have a unified cause, and and just in general, music is one thing that unites us, and this just being a wartime instrument, but obviously we're against the wars, the world, billionaire-funded wars. So I feel repurposing this for a good cause, that we're, protesting against the injustices and everything that we're standing for.
The people I spoke to today made their voices known both in what they said and in their signs, and they're as committed as ever to saving American democracy. In downtown Utica at the No 3 Kings protest, I'm Ron Klopfanstein for 95.5 FM, The Heat. We'll have that story streaming tonight at 9 p.m. and we'll have this entire episode up Wednesday at 9 p.m. at uticaphoenix.net/Media Monday. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Ron Klopfanstein. I'll be back next week with another Hot Seat Media Monday.